I wish y'all could be here when the pre-show.
The pre-show.
Pre-show.
Yes, the pre-show of us trying to set this up and not have an argument right before we go live. What's straight? I don't know. What's not straight?
I'm sorry. Being a contractor, my stuff has to be
You
straight.
got a level.
So when I
Maybe
look
you
at
need a
it,
level.
you
Okay.
know.
So we're going to talk about, today is the pre-show. Today's Super Bowl.
That's
Super Bowl
right. Go
Sunday.
Cowboys!
Who is playing today?
Chargers and Patriots. I mean, Rams and Patriots.
Patriots are always on there, aren't they?
Yeah,
I don't
because
even know
Tom
anything
Brady
about
cheats.
football. But
Tom Brady, I'm teasing. Deflate gate, no.
Okay. So I don't even know what that means. So I'm like, go Cowboys and Indians. Like,
Barbara, how are you today?
hey, Barbara.
Tell James you said hello. Love that man.
So Barbara's feeling better, so we're super excited. And so today we're going to talk about, we always say we're not going to be on here long, but I guess we'll just talk until God tells us to stop talking. So we're going to talk about marriage myth number 3, which is everything bad in my life will disappear
when I get married.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I love this one because this was me. I was married before. So this is my second marriage, my Sherry's third. And we just thought, man, we just had married the wrong ones before. And while we were still dating, actually we were living together, and we were talking, and we just got it all out in the open, and we just talked, and we were like, man, we understand each other.
And we're going to get to that.
Man, okay.
So just jump right in. So let's preface it just a little bit. So let's talk about Cinderella. Want to? Because all girls know the Cinderella story. All people, right? All couples know the Cinderella story, especially, and whether or not you... so everybody knows Cinderella. Let's just use that one. So Cinderella lived with her evil stepmother, and that stepmother's get a bad rap from back then. Stepmother and 2 mean stepsisters, right?
Yeah.
And then so she was like scrubbing the floors, and she lived kind of in the hood. Right?
Yeah.
And so then Prince Charming comes along. Her shoe fits.
He's rich.
Her foot fits the shoe, and so they were like, "Yeah, it's going to be a perfect marriage."
Man, don't you know, with the wicked stepsisters and the wicked stepmother, there was some drama going on in that family, and Disney didn't show that.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Yeah, we didn't hear about all that. And so they had this beautiful thing, and she wore a beautiful gown, and she didn't even own a gown, but she went to the ball. They ride off into the sunset the next day when her shoe shoe fits, but no one ever thought about, wow, we have differences. Like you come from all this pomp and circumstance and all this money, and you live in a palace, and I live, ghetto. And
Prince Charming had a drinking problem, and
not even that part. I'm just talking about the part. Well, you could have, yeah.
Cinderella had a shoe fetish, had to buy shoes all the time.
Only one. She only wanted one shoe at a time. But they never thought about all their differences. They came from different backgrounds. His parents were married, hers were divorced, or her mom died, right? Her mom died, so she had a step parent. So no one ever talked about all their differences, their financial differences, the different classes where they came from, different ways they were raised.
But we're going to get married, and all of the problems of the world will just go away.
Are going to go away. So everything bad in their life is just going to disappear.
Because you complete me, boo. You complete me.
And so in the world, that's what they say. You get married, and you get married in the world and in the movies, and you live happily ever after, and no one ever talks about what that looks like. But in a Christian marriage is that the two shall become one. And it doesn't mean as soon as you put the ring on it, then now all of a sudden you guys, everything is the same and all your problems went away. In Christian marriage, it's just beginning. The adventure is about to start.
I had an analogy that I always used to say that if you were a single guy or a single woman and you got up every morning and you drove to Starbucks and you got your Starbucks coffee with one of the little sweet cakes or whatever that they have there, and you did it every single morning, well, when you get married, you're going to do that exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So if you're drinking, you're using drugs, watching pornography, shopping too much, eating too much, just if your life doesn't have balance, then you're still bringing that to the marriage. Now, it might be back off in the shadows for a little bit, and it doesn't come to the forefront because y'all are so in love, and she goes, well, you know what, once we get married, all that stuff will change. All that will change. Mm-hmm. He won't be that way anymore. and I'm going to help
He'll
him.
stop
not do
doing it.
He'll stop doing it.
Richard used
you
to
know.
say, you used to say about the jelly donuts. If you like jelly
Jelly
donuts
donuts today.
yes.
When I get married, I'm gonna like them tomorrow.
Yes,
And I
you're
really,
gonna like 'em.
let's see. I took a fast from jelly donuts because I love jelly donuts. But
Well, he calls them power rings now. They're not called donuts. Try
it's easier to
convince
eat
him.
a power ring than it is to eat a donut.
But that's the thing is, we get married and we think of all these bad things in their life, or we don't really look at all those things because we think, well, they're going to go away, or we're going to change them. They're going to get better once we get married, or anything bad that's ever happened is going to disappear. And really, what happens in marriage is you get married, and it's like a big magnifying glass is on your life, and anything that's in the dark comes to light. Like that's just what marriage has a way of bringing everything that's hidden or things you haven't
It's
talked
supposed
about.
to. That's how marriage works. That's what it's actually working. But people think, oh, we can't get along. We're angry. Because we don't see each other's way. But I'm not supposed to see it her way all the time. She's not supposed to see it my way all the time, because God uses those differences to make us sharper, to say, okay, you know what? Whenever she says that, I react like a jerk. And then what we're supposed to do is she says, you know what? Whenever I say that, it doesn't bring the best out of him. And I'm supposed to think, you know what? When she says that, I shouldn't act like that anymore. So she stopped saying or reacting the way she reacts, and I stopped reacting the way that I normally react, and things start to grow. We start to grow together instead of growing apart.
But that took years into it. So
Years.
when we first
I mean,
got
yeah,
together,
years,
it
not
was
like-
like I was looking for Prince Charming, he was looking for Cindy, Cinderella. So deep down, we had this longing for that perfect fairy tale life. We just we think that person's going to be the one that's going to fix it for us. And what we don't realize is that we're all thinking about our own self. If you haven't gotten worked on yourself and gotten, like, we came from the world, we didn't have any pre-Christian training. I mean, I was married and then married again. Richard was married. We were both still married when we met each other. We were both going through a divorce. He'd only been separated like a week. I'd been separated a few months. And here we thought this person was going to be the one that was going to be different. Like,
And that itself is instead of having, we had drugs, alcohol, pornography, all of those, but also leaving a marriage and going right into another relationship without having time to heal is just another addiction. It's just another thing that we add to the problem of, not having time to heal and being healed when you meet somebody, right?
And so so in some of these videos, I give him a little thing like that, and he thinks I'm telling him to be quiet, but I'm really just telling him to sit up.
Oh.
And so we married. We got together, and we didn't want to get married. We pinky promised when we were dating that we would never get married because we'd been married. We didn't want to go down that route, but we thought we got together to escape our lives, to escape the lives that we were living, because we thought it would be different with this person. But what we didn't know was that I was thinking about all my needs. I wasn't thinking about fixing his needs. I was thinking how he was going to take care of my needs. He was thinking, well, this girl's going to take care of all my needs. And then we got married, and we were like,
What about my needs?
What
about my needs?
So, and it didn't erase our personal pain that we had from baggage that we had. We brought all that into this marriage, and all we saw at first was each other, but we didn't realize that we were dragging all this baggage in with all this stuff that we hadn't dealt with. But we thought everything bad would just disappear and we wouldn't have to deal with it.
I was laughing because I was thinking about that meme you told me about yesterday when the husband comes home. He's all like, why is the house not always clean? You just stay at home. You don't work.
You're home all day.
You're home all day. And she's all like, I don't know. Why aren't we rich? Because you work all the time. So I just thought that was hilarious because that's how you expect. You know what? Subconsciously, we pick a spouse or a mate that we think subconsciously is going to go back and help us heal our past hurts. Mm-hmm. And when we don't even know that. But man, when that starts to not happen, what we do is we turn on each other. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, you know what, where am I lacking in this relationship? Where am I lacking in this marriage? And I mean, we've done the whole, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, let's switch and see where we are in our marriage, And, she said, are you sure you want to play this game? And I was all like, yeah, we're on a date. That should be my first indication of don't play this game. But so mine was an 8.5 and hers was a 2. And then I go, a 2? I can't believe it's a 2. And she goes, I can't believe you just said that. It just went to 1.
And that's the thing people don't about marriage is that there's a lot of couples that we talk to, they're not necessarily complaining so much about that marriage is worse than being single. that it's just that it's not better. They thought when they got married it was going to be better. It's not that it's, one's better than the other, but it's like, why didn't it get much better? We thought this person was going to answer everything. They thought it was going to be an instant cure, but what we didn't know, like we said, is that we came in with all this pain and hurt, which we didn't show each other at first. We only had our A game going, and
well, we thought if we just told each other about it, that's enough. That's enough. Hey, man, I'm messed up here, and here, just so that you know. Hey, well, great, I'm messed up here. Man, we got it.
Yeah. And
well,
we were
now,
just like,
now,
hey, do it. Judy said, that's my childhood friend, best
Judy
friend from across the-
Trevino?
Yes, or she's Judy Duffin now for like 30 years. But
sorry, all I hear is Judy Trevino, Judy Trevino.
So, and they didn't say Trevino, they said Trevino. Okay?
Trevino.
You couldn't have any
That's right.
accent.
What are they? You can't be I remember, Judy, back in the day, I was De Los Santos, and hey, I had to speak like a bright. I had to, we had to lose our Spanish accent.
Sad. Your personality shine through. Love it. I love you too, and I'm so thankful for that. And she's known me since I was a little kid. So she knows all this baggage that I'm talking about that I brought into this relationship with Richard. So after 2 marriages and lots of failed things in my life, Richard has a marriage 17 years. Here we get into this marriage. We think it's going to be an instant cure. It's worse than it was before because now we're not fixing each other. He's not fixing my problems. My bad stuff didn't disappear. Now I just got more problems because now I got his to deal with and mine to deal with. But what we didn't understand at first and how we almost ended up divorced was that we didn't understand the process. We just wanted to give up and quit because we thought, again, we had married the wrong person.
Yeah.
And
it's easier. It's easier. We've been through a divorce. She'd been through 2. So it's easier to go through a divorce, been there, done that, than it is to stand your ground and say, you know what, Satan, we're going to fight you. And you're making it look like it's my wife that has the issues, but it's actually you, Satan, that has the issues. So we're going to stay together and we're going to fight through this. And we're going to learn how to love each other and honor each other and respect each other and turn this against you instead of you turning it against us.
And I just think about how many years that we wasted arguing and strife and the things that we had against each other. I wasn't even really upset with him. I've always thought it was him, but I was dealing with my own stuff I hadn't dealt with. Then I got his stuff, and we're just dealing with this. The Bible says we're not dealing with flesh. We were dealing with all of the principalities and all the things that were against us that we didn't even see. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He is walking around quietly to devour your marriage, and we didn't know that was happening. And so we're all constantly turning on each other when we should have been turning to each other. Because together we're strong. And so if we had turned to each other, we'd have saved so many years of what we went through, right?
Yeah,
but we didn't understand that. But the good thing was we didn't give up. That was the one thing different that most couples, we've been together almost, going on 16 years now.
What?
And being the fact that it's a 3rd marriage for me and that we both have all this baggage and all this stuff, statistically, we have a 15% chance. We had a 15% chance of making it. They said 85%. Now we got 100%. That's the Lord. That's Jesus. But because we had all of that stacked against us, and so we didn't use the tools that we were learning to start to fight it and press in. We just wanted to bail out. But once we started to press in, I don't even know who it was. At some point, he started to.
It was her.
Oh.
It was her.
Well, thank you. Well, he also started to forgive more. Easily.
I remember that. I said, you know what? I'm going to forgive whether it's my fault or not. I'm just going to forgive. I'm going to be the first one to forgive. Mm-hmm. And then she, we're both type A, very competitive. So she's all like, oh no, you're not going to forgive before I forgive. So whenever we would have something happen, it'd be like, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, I said it first. No, I said it first. I was thinking it first. And then we would laugh because we were very quick to apologize. And when we started doing that, all of us, that was just enough to get us through to the next day. It's almost like AA for marriage. It works if you work it, and Jesus works if you let him in. And we can't, if our spouse comes at us in the flesh, well, we're going to answer in the flesh. That's our nature. That's how. But God wants us to answer in our supernatural, and our supernatural is to go pray. Even if we can't pray, sometimes we were so angry we couldn't pray right then with each other. But I would walk off and just pray by myself, Lord, I don't want this marriage to fail. And man, instantly he says, well, then go in there and apologize and tell her that it was your fault because it was your fault. And when I walked back in, I said, baby, I'm so sorry. That was on me. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have reacted like that. Well, she goes, you know what? And then, man, we heal. We start the healing process instead of letting this just fester and isolation and growing apart and growing apart.
But that would be just a little bit, and we would
Yeah.
have to us that was like a milestone, and then we'd have 3 weeks of going back 100 steps. Because then as soon as we go one step further, then we go back, and we just kept going, and it was just so much. I went to go get therapy for our marriage, and they pretty much told me that I needed to leave. They said, run, Forrest, run. Like, y'all don't have a chance. Y'all need to go. Like, he's got too many issues. You need to get out. And, marriage therapy, I guess, works for some people, but for us, marriage became therapy for us. We let our marriage was the therapy. And so we stayed married. We stuck it out only because I told her that today in our marriage class. The only reason we really stuck it out was because I was embarrassed. I was married before. I didn't want to be. Here we were in church now, and I got to tell people I'm getting divorced for the third time. People are not feeling sorry for you by the third time you're getting divorced. They're like realizing that, you know what, there might be a common denominator here. You know, I was thinking my picker was broken, but what it was is that I had a lot of childhood. I had a good childhood, but I had a lot of
emotionally broken
Yes.
pickers pick emotionally broken pickers.
But I also had my own stuff that I needed to deal with from childhood, from other hurts, from other marriages.
And you can't hang that on each other. I cannot hang my personal growth on my wife, expecting her to make me happy. You know, I can't do that. And vice versa. She can't do that to me, because all we're going to do is just frustrate the heck out of each other.
And I think about how many, in 16 years, it probably took us 10 years of not even knowing what the root of the problem was. Like, we were always arguing over the everyday, and everything irritated us. I mean, not even just the big things, but every little thing was, we were picking on each other.
Why? She would say, "Why do you chew like that?"
The last video.
I know,
You can't let that go.
I can't.
In the spirit of letting things go. And so I'm trying to say not and so.
So
So nothing. I can't even say not and so. We had all these issues with childhood. So after we were together 10 years, and we didn't even realize how many childhood things that we hadn't even dealt with. But when we started to get real with each other, when we started praying for one another, that was the breakthrough. When he started to say he was sorry quicker than I did, and when I started not reacting to him in the way that I would usually react, which was screaming and yelling, slamming doors, moving out, taking my car and going off for the weekend, telling him he was no good. You know, it was horrible. Our life was hell. But when I changed a little bit and just said, I don't understand, but I'm going to try to hear your heart and to find out, tell me what happened when you were this age or that age. And now we didn't even know there were things that we were dealing with. We can talk about so many things from our past, and
we have understanding.
Overcoming those toughest tribulations and things that we've been through. And then we get together. We have all this back stuff. Then we get together, and since we've been together, you know, some of y'all know I've lost both my parents, two of my sister, my brother, two sisters, a brother, my niece. And then just last year, Richard lost his mom, his sister, his brother. I mean, the devil has tried to take us out, not just down. But because of the unity we have now, it's just like we get to go through those things a lot in a different way.
Yeah.
A lot stronger.
You know, no matter what, we get the victory. No matter what, I'm going to see my family again. No matter what, she's going to see her family again. But who cannot be joyful for that? You know, their pain and suffering has ended. And so, yeah, they're not in our life right now, but they're in our hearts and they're in our spirit. And the only thing, guys, that we can even take to heaven is our family and our spirit and our love for one another. So when we are at each other's throat all the time, guess what? Guess who else picks up on that? Not only the family dog and cat, more so the dog than the cat, but our children. Our children see this. And if they're witnessing mother and father, the thing that needs to bring them closer together so they can see love and see a healthy atmosphere and see what they're going to be like when they grow up, and all they see is yelling and screaming and tantrum throwing and stuff breaking and slapping, and then what's going to happen with these children? They're going to repeat the process, because more is caught than taught. Mm-hmm. So they might not want to be that, or I'm never going to be that. How many of y'all have said, I will not do like that when I get older? I will not. I remember telling myself, I will never drink like my father. I will never smoke like my father. I will never treat a woman like my father is treating my mother. Yeah. And I was right. I did it worse. I treated her even worse. Mm-hmm. And then even Sherry, you know, I never laid hands on anybody. That's the one thing I always said my dad never taught me anything. the one thing that he did teach me was don't ever lay hands on a woman. And if you see a man laying hands on a woman, you take up her side no matter what the cause is. And I'm still waiting to do that, and I haven't been able to. But anyways, that's just my dad.
Whole another thing.
That's a whole nother.
But I love that point you were saying earlier, and I forget about that. Is if you didn't, I didn't know this until we learned it a few years ago. Is that we unconsciously pick a person who will help us go back in our past and heal our wounds, whether it's childhood wounds, whether it's bullying, whatever it is that happened in your life, romances, things that hurt, losing of loved ones. We pick someone unconscious. It's just crazy how our mind works and how God does that. But we will pick someone who will help us walk through that. But what happens is, like Richard said, if we don't realize that about each other, we end up turning on each other, then we end up separating. When this really could be if we have the patience to work through it and take the time and do the work, it's the most beautiful. It's the craziest. God is so good how He works. What the devil meant for harm, God will use for good. And when we started to work through this stuff and use our marriage as therapy, instead of being against each other and working through those things together, that's when we just want to give you guys hope all the time, because we know if we can make it, anybody can make it. That's the
truth. And Jonathan, we met you
Jonathan.
out in Oklahoma City, and I remember meeting you guys,
and we prayed.
Y'all had something very special there at that church in Oklahoma City. Hopefully y'all are still plugged in and still working it. And just bringing people to the Lord, and that's just amazing. Keep it up. Y'all had something very special at that church.
That's very cool. We loved Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So we're going to hop off because I know it's Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right. Go Cowboys!
And Indians. And so marriage myth number
You don't even
3.
know anything about football, do you?
I don't care.
You don't know anything about football.
When I was in 6th grade, I was like on this little cheerleader thing in 6th grade for the fun football or whatever it was. And I didn't know anything about football. Fun football. It's called fun football. And I didn't know anything. That was before I was unpopular. As soon as I got to junior high, I was like the biggest dork. But in 6th grade, it was my 1 year of fame. And so I was a cheerleader, but I didn't know anything about football. Yeah. And so whenever I would only cheer whenever like I see him run to the other, and everybody would cheer like, woo, like what's a touchdown? I didn't know the difference between a home run and a touchdown. I still don't know, but that's okay. I'm just going to go and hang out with our friends today and have fun. So we're in marriage myth number 3. Everything bad in my life will disappear is a myth. You're not thinking about that when you first get married. You're just thinking that this person is going to be the one that's going to solve everything. Then you get married, you can turn on each other if you don't work with each other. And so we just want y'all to be encouraged, and just know that everything that's bad will not disappear, but it can get better, and it will get better, and it can go away if you work through it and you work together and you use your marriage as therapy instead of turning on each other. There's gotta be something.
Scott was asking if we were going to be at the XO this weekend, and we're not. Unfortunately, we have another engagement to be at. But we also have XO Houston coming up. We also have some a marriage conference with Lakewood Church coming up in March. So if you guys are
in the Spark Conference
in the Spark Conference,
and we have some awesome things coming up. We're going to get to tell you all about soon coming up. Some other stuff.
So check out our webpage.
Yep. So therealbrights.com, and we are doing this video every week, and we have YouTube channel, which is The Real Brights. There are not, the last few videos have not been put on there because we had to buy a new computer yesterday, but they're all going to get downloaded tomorrow and be on there because we couldn't download them anymore. But so there's going to be several new ones, or ones that from the last few weeks. We're going to add to that, and please share our videos. It really helps us. Our goal is to reach 1 million couples, right?
That's right.
I guess we need to have a date for that, a deadline, but 1 million couples, and it really helps us if you share the videos and tell people.
But everybody could use a little bit of assistance in their marriage. I mean, even we do.
Yeah, it helps us.
It helps us.
Thank y'all. We enjoy you guys too. Thank y'all for hopping on here.
And if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, remember, go Cowboys!
And we can't say deuces anymore because they say that nobody says deuces anymore. So we're just going to say peace out.
Love you much.
Bye.
Bye.